One of you guys out here. I am Christ, I am disciple. This is long overdue. We're going to talk about so many different things when we come to restore the Snyderverse. We're also going to do a review on Beverly Hills Cop uh, Axel F. We're also going to talk a little bit about a review on the Sandman. I finally watched the Sandman on Netflix. And we're also going to talk, of course, about Warner Brothers and what's happening with that studio, as well as we talk about um, just a lot about how Restore the Snyderverse will happen. And we keep you updated on the latest events that have happened there. If you look right now, I'm on Twitter, and we got a couple of interesting things that a lot of people don't know. One of them is that Warner Brothers Discovery has actually been bought by a company known as Redbird IMI. And that will be seen right here. So a gentleman named Drew Riley said back in May, Redbird IMI purchased Warner Brothers Discovery, the parent corporation of CNN. Redbird IMI completely bought out Warner Brothers Discovery for nearly 1.4 billion US dollars. Sinclair has lost so much money over the past 2 years that they can't buy anything new and may be looking to sell. And just in case you think that's not verified, I'm going to verify it for you guys by showing you in this article, which is on Warner Brothers Discovery, what transpired. On the 12th of December 2023, Redbird IMI was reported to be the front runner with the company in advanced talks with Warner Bros. Discovery and Liberty Global to acquire the company for around £1 billion, which is about 1.26 billion US dollars, in a deal that could be completed before the end of the year. It was also reported that Banijay had dropped out of contention the previous week, and the North Road Company and Goldman Sachs also exit. On February 6, 2024, Redbird IMI confirmed that they would be acquiring All3Media from Warner Bros. Discovery and Liberty Global for £1.15 billion, with the deal expected to close sometime in the second or third quarter of the year, pending the regulatory approval. On May 16, 2024, the sale was announced to have been completed, making it the single largest acquisition made by Redbird. Redbird IMI CEO and former CNN's president Jeff Zucker was made chairman of All3Media, while Jane Turton and Sarah Geter remained COO and CEO of the company, respectively. Right. So Warner Brothers Discovery is no longer owned by Warner Brothers Discovery. It is now owned by Redbird. Now, Jeff Zucker is a good friend of David Zaslav, so that's what happened. But here's the thing. That acquisition did absolutely nothing for Warner Brothers Discovery stock, which is closed at $7.11 yesterday, because we are right now speaking Tuesday, the 9th of July. Mind you, all praise be to the Most High God. The Most High God comes first. Mind you, Warner Bros. Discovery stock has been going down and down and down and down and down over the last year, over the last 2-3 years. I think the stock has been plunging and plunging and plunging. So this is not really surprising that this is happening, but I just wanted to share this information to you guys that it's actually been bought out. Warner Bros. Discovery has actually been bought out. They're trying to save the company, but it looks like they're going to get bought out again. So it's just very interesting information. I thought I would let you guys start on. Now, what's her name? Grace Randolph had actually reported that David Zaslav was looking to sell Warner Brothers, but actually what she didn't know is it was already sold to Redbird IMI. So Redbird IMI has actually purchased it. They purchased it in April this year. Bought out the company. So David Zaslav is no longer the owner of it. Now here's something else that's very interesting. They're talking about it merging with another studio. This was happening February this year. We're talking about merging with another studio. That's another thing that's happening now. What you guys should know by now is that not only they have sold off. By the way, I do believe Warner Brothers Discovery just sold off or is selling off Rooster Teeth, which is the animated gaming studio that they had. As we all know, Rocksteady is also sold out as well. But it's just interesting what's happening there with the company. And but there was something else I was going to show you guys. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can find it. Which is that Paramount has actually merged with Skydance. Actually, Paramount is now owned by Skydance. Skydance has bought out Paramount. So it's a merger there. And that's something that's pretty interesting that's going on. Just calm down. As we speak, okay? So I just thought I would share that with you guys. As you know, the Arkham Asylum series that Matt Reeves was working on, it is no longer moving forward. Apparently, it's been canceled. So that's very interesting. It seems as though Warner Brothers Discovery is shedding as much load as possible. They shed their music library. They've even shed some IPs. You know, the Batman IP is now licensed out in part, at least the animated Batman IP, to Amazon Prime. And so those people who are advocates for sell the Snyderverse to Netflix, they've had a case since you know, Batman properties and the Sandman were sort of leased out to Netflix. Sandman is on Netflix. We have Sweet Tooth on Netflix. We have Batman, which has been leased out to Amazon Prime. So there are a number of opportunities for the Snyderverse to be restored through it being licensed out to Netflix, for example. That is an option. Now, why we use the Restore the Snyderverse banner, which a lot of people do not understand, is because licensing out or selling something to Netflix is an option. It's not the only way that things can go about. And clearly, it doesn't seem that we have the days for Warner Brothers Discovery are numbered. It's going to be bought out by something. I don't know if it's going to be bought out by Disney, because it looks like David Zaslav is moving in that direction where he wants. That's why he has James Gunn there. So it looks like they're trying to have Disney buy out Warner Brothers Discovery. So then Disney will have 20th Century Fox, and it'll have Warner Brothers Discovery, which will be a monopoly. And I want to see what legally that would result in. Not to mention that Disney would also, you know, besides being audited and being looked into, would also, you know, in its present state, be owning a lot of IPs. This seems to be the direction Zaslav was trying to move in. But I hope that does not happen. I hope that you know, if anything, Universal, which is very interested in getting the properties of Warner Bros. Discovery, I'm very hopeful that Universal will somehow buy out Warner Bros. Discovery, because the thing this looks like David is basically sabotaging Warner Brothers to bring the share value down so that another company can buy it easily. That's what it looks like that's happening. So we'll see. I don't know. And Cinema Bums was saying, starting in April, Warner Bros. Can begin looking at offers to buy or sell, merge with another studio. Many believe that the studio has signed recent top talent like Margot Robbie and Tom Cruise to make the sale more attractive. So there's been rumors, particularly this year, that they're going to sell. And I think that's what's basically going on. They're setting up to sell. So this may be the reason why Restore the Snyderverse has not come on the table yet. Now, here's the thing, though. This is not a rumor anymore. This is a thing, which is this. This is a thing. It has been announced that, let's see if I can find it here. I'm going to find it. Here it is. Now, this is published through several different outlets. The Screen Rant was one of the most recent ones, but also Fandango actually published this. After 3 years of being released on streaming, Zack Snyder's Justice League has been confirmed to come to theaters. The director confirmed the news on Vero and teased more details in the future. Get ready to sit in the theater for 4 hours. So this is a thing, and this is not the same. Just so you guys will know, this is not the same as what he's talking about with the Egyptian. There was a fake account, a fake post that Zack Snyder was saying that the post that he did after in Vero, 2 separate posts, by the way, where he was talking about, seeing the Snyder Cut on the big screen, was referring to the Egyptian. That's been debunked. That's a fake post, just like the fake post with Gunn. So I think Zack Snyder is talking about something separate, and he did actually like a post which said that they suspect it's going to be a limited release in theaters, whether it's globally or whatever. And the fact that Zack Snyder didn't put it on it, whereas the Egyptian had dates in August, all of this will be transpiring with the Egyptian, means that this may be a global release. Which now, the only reason I think that this is big news, irrespective of whether the company Warner Brothers is going to be sold off again to maybe a major studio, is because, one, and I believe this has nothing to do with James Gunn. I think this has to do with Abdi and DeLuca, and I believe this we will see this sometime this year. If this gets a theatrical release, which I believe will happen, it's going to change everything, because Zack Snyder, this movie is going to hold up its end of the bargain. Let's just put it that way. We already have, you're talking about getting easily $300 million in the theater if this is posted worldwide, because devoted fans will definitely go see this. Okay. In fact, I'm going to show you a couple of things. So this is the post here, and look at the response. Okay. Look at the response. Okay, that's the same person. So there are people just arguing the grounds. Somebody says trash, but I'm trying to find. I'll have to go to another post. I think I did this already. There's a lot of people supporting it, though. So there's a lot of people supporting it, obviously. You see people saying, yes, please, and so on. And you can just go through all of this. The response is very positive. And you have to understand something. This is a 4-hour-long movie we're talking about. A 4-hour-long movie. Of course, Warner Bros. Will also be putting out the Lord of the Rings trilogy this year. So if they do that, this is going to be momentous, because, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, Mr. Wesley, also he complimented Warner Bros. On doing something like this. I'm gonna say this: if Warner Bros. Does something like this, there's several reasons why this will be big. The first reason will be this will be the debut of the movie into theaters, particularly IMAX, where it's supposed to be, on a global scale, that is. And that's a huge deal. That's history in the making. People are going to go see this movie just for the reason of being a part of history. People are curious about it, so a lot of people who are curious about the movie are going to go see it. So it's going to be a big response to this movie. Even though this movie is like, it came out in 2021, so it's like 4 years old right now. It's just a movie that's going to make noise, regardless. It doesn't matter what you do, it's going to make noise. It's going to perform. Which, I mean, not only when Zach did that cryptic thing, basically had Restore the Snyderverse and Zack Snyder's name trending for 2 days straight. But also, it's just people came out of the woodwork who you don't normally hear, mainstream people, and commenting on it. So this is something to look forward to. And for those of you who have been pushing Restore the Snyderverse, or some version of it, or Zack Snyder's Justice League in theaters, or Zack Snyder's in IMAX. And I think this should be exclusively actually posted in IMAX, unless the country doesn't have IMAX theaters, because if you were to do it in theaters, you kind of undermine the movie, because the movie was designed for IMAX. So the viewing, you're going to lose a lot of the viewing, the scope of it. So it's not just to be put in theaters. I think it should just solely be put in IMAX. And I think that's where your bulk of generational income should come from. And, just watch it thrive and do well. It's definitely going to perform. There's no if, buts, or maybe. Now, I don't know how long they'll have it running in theaters. If they have it running in theaters for a week or 2 weeks or maybe even 3 weeks, in 3 weeks' time, it could wreak havoc. It could do some damage. And yeah, it's a 4-hour movie. You put a break in between, somewhere in the midpoint. But I'm telling you right now, the kind of support and the people who are willing to go to certain lengths to see this movie, it's a pity they're not launching it in the summer when, all these people are away from school and all that. I don't know. They'll probably launch it at the end of the year, somewhere after August, maybe. But I'm telling you, that's a big thing. And several outlets, have covered this, of course. So, I mean, that's huge. And the DCU movie page says, let's fucking go. Let's make it happen, Abdi and DeLuca. I believe Abdi and DeLuca are behind this. And I hope they succeed. And then Anatoly Fedorov, he says, we need to see this fight. Anatoly Fedorov, obviously, is an Eastern European guy. He loves this, and I think he's also a guy who does animation, that kind of thing, digital animation. I would love to see this. I would love to see this myself. Okay, so having said that, I want to go into a little controversial stuff before going into Alex Foley and Beverly Hills Cop 2 review, and then giving a review on the Sandman. So I just wanted to give you guys those updates first and foremost. I see there are people viewing. Don't forget to smash the like button. Also, you can donate to this channel via PayPal. The link is in the description. Shit, what the fuck just happened there? No biggie. Okay, that was crazy. I went to comments, and for some rare reason, thank you for smashing the like button. For some reason, when I went to comments there, some crazy shit happened. Okay, now this is, I'm going to go into a little something that is a little bit controversial, but I think that a lot of people actually think like this. So Sabrina Cox, and let me just go to the article right here. Sabrina Cox, she said, Suicide Squad 2016 actually isn't terrible. Can I say that now? And I'll say another thing. The Suicide Squad 2021 is the same fucking movie with all the same problems, albeit, but better editing, structure, she meant structure, pacing, and a worse visual palette. All right, let me get into this. My personal point of view is that Suicide Squad 2016, I've said this, I've been consistent, is a better movie, in my opinion, than the Suicide Squad 2021. Some people say this is a controversial opinion. I personally believe this, and I'll tell you why. Suicide Squad 2016, the story is trash. Let's be real. The story is trash, okay? But that's not why people went back and saw Suicide Squad 2016. It wasn't because they went for the story. Okay. The reason Suicide Squad 2016 did so well, shout out to Lord Koj in the building. What's up, my brother? Says, yo, good response for Snyder Cut, I must say. And let me see what else you're saying here, brother. Hold on a second. Oh, man. This thing is such a... I don't even know why it's doing that. I just saw your comment, and then your comments vanished. So I'm not quite sure how to use this thing properly yet. But shout out to Lord Koj in the building. I just lost your comments, and I can't get them back for some reason. I don't know how to use this thing properly. It's a YouTube where you can like be doing gaming and stuff, and you have this little bulb here, and stuff flows. But shout out to Lord Koj. Man, listen, I'm looking forward to this. I'm looking forward to seeing Zack Snyder's Justice League in IMAX. I don't want to see it in the theater. I want to see it in IMAX. And so let me explain to you why I say Suicide Squad 2016 is a better movie than James Gunn's The Suicide Squad, in my opinion. This is my opinion, okay? Because we have opinions. My opinion is that because while Suicide Squad 2016 did not have a good storyline, okay? It was paper thin. It was ridiculous. You could see where they chopped up the thing, and it was horrific. It was bad. The characters had a lot of personality in that movie. And even though the movie's grounded, the characters were so rich. You could tell that David Ayer put a lot of work into that people went back to see the characters. In fact, if you guys do remember, for Halloween, people were dressing up as Harley Quinn. Harley Quinn dominated Halloween, okay? And the reason was people really loved the character of Harley Quinn. Deadshot was, Will Smith killed it. He knocked it out of the park with Deadshot. Another favorite was Captain Boomerang. Killer Croc looked great, and even though he was a little small. And just the combination of these characters interfacing with each other, even playing straight Colonel Rick Flag, then Amanda Waller. And then we had Rick Flag's relationship with, even though we didn't explore it that much, with June Moon, right, who became Enchantress, right? And even though the ending was stupid, and some characters in the movie just didn't seem to fit, you could tell that they did something else to the story, and they chopped up stuff. To me, it's a far superior film because of the characters than the Suicide Squad, which is just repulsive, in my opinion. I don't like the humor. I didn't like that James Gunn was just, using the F word for using the F word's sake. Like he was just recklessly throwing it around. It was a mean-spirited movie in the sense of this. Bloodsport was cursing out his daughter. He was the cursing back and forth, Bloodsport and Peacemaker. The racist jokes that Harley Quinn made in the movie. I just didn't enjoy it. Right. And I watched the movie in pieces, and I did not watch it, of course, in the theater. I didn't pay to see it. I just watched it in pieces. But I personally didn't like it. Okay. And I was turned off from the movie from the moment I saw the trailer where Amanda Waller was updating the squad on what they needed to do. And just hearing Peacemaker talk about poop jokes and that kind of stuff just turned me off. And I believe that the majority of people who probably were going to give the movie a chance and were going to go into the cinema and see it, in spite of it being COVID, I think they were turned off the same way. Remember, I went into the theaters and watched Wonder Woman 84. So I was kind of willing to give this movie a shot. And I was looking forward to the trailers to see, if James Gunn could do something with them. And what I saw in the trailers just turned me off. And I think, similarly, a lot of people who saw this movie, saw the trailers for this movie were turned off as well. And I think that's the reason why A lot of people that just didn't go see it, and I think the people who are gun fans, love James Gunn stuff and they like his humor, his version of humor. I think they went to see it. And because of that, mainly exclusively they went to see it, you get positive reviews from the audience. You get positive critical reviews, but really it's a small amount of people that actually turned up to see it. Nobody really gave a damn about the movie like that. Nobody wanted to turn up to see it. So that's what they're saying. So they're saying that because of the reviews and because of the audience reception, who actually went to see the movie, they're saying it's a better movie than Suicide Squad 2021, when I truly believe it's not. And the results are very simple. You go and you look at a review of Suicide Squad 2021, you're talking about over 200,000 reviews, whereas it's just like 2,000 views for James Gunn's Suicide Squad. It just tells you there's a vast amount of people who are interested in seeing it. And even though some of these people in the 2000 whatever panned it or whatever, when it comes to Suicide Squad 2016, you will find out that a lot of people went back. There were repeat viewings. This movie had legs, which tells you that people really enjoyed what they saw and they wanted to go back and see more of it, So I by and large, I think that Suicide Squad 2016 was actually a better film, not because necessarily it followed all the proper rules or that it was even as, flush and coherent throughout. No, I think the movie was not as it definitely wasn't coherent. It was schizophrenic, like the people in it. The movie had its own character, and then the characters in the movie were interesting enough to carry the movie to the end. You understand what I'm saying? The movie had nothing going for it in terms of story. Nothing. The story was shit. But the characters were so interesting that you still kept on watching the story because of the characters. I think people really enjoyed the characters. The story was crap, but the characters were great. Now, in Gunn's Suicide Squad movie, I didn't like the characters. Okay, I didn't even like how Gunn killed off the characters in the beginning of the movie. To me, it was just ridiculous and stupid. And the story had merits in it. Ratcatcher, taking down Starro and all of that. But at the end of the day, I found the story to be, the word I'm looking for is presumptuous. And the reason it was presumptuous is because of the premise that Gunn began the movie with. I'm not taking these characters seriously. I dress them up like clowns. I'm just gonna exploit things just because I can. And so it's a frivolous movie that has a deeper center. It has a deeper emotional heartbeat or center to it. And he finishes the movie bringing out that deep emotional center. So I'm not saying that, there's not merits to that. I'm just saying ain't nobody who's turned off from all of that superfluous nonsense that you're doing gonna wait, especially if they don't like it. They're gonna wait to the end to get that payoff. And that's what happened. So his movie is, I would say, is it, in terms of movie making, is it much more flush, linear, better made in terms of editing and everything than Suicide Squad 2016? Yes, of course. But is it a better movie than Suicide Squad 2016? No, because 2016 gets your attention from the get-go. The characters are very colorful. The characters are very interesting, right? But what he does and his form of humor, some people like that, so they will go with it. But most people don't like that. That is why his movie did not sell in theaters. That's why people didn't take their time out of their time to go see that movie, right? And the same thing's playing out with Superman. So what I'm trying to explain to people is Gunn deals with a certain demographic that likes his style of humor. But there's a lot of people don't like his humor. A lot of people don't like his style of doing things. And it's now coming out in the open with Superman, but not saying that he doesn't have merits in what he's telling in his story, but people get turned off before that story could even be told and the payoff could even happen. Because while he was able to pull it off with Guardians of the Galaxy, which are sort of characters nobody really knew, he can't do it with characters that people know. You can't pull that shit off with characters people know. Superman's a well-known character. Can't just pull off any old shit with Superman. I said this is a very difficult character to portray on the screen because a lot of people know Superman. And there are just certain lines you do not cross with Superman. And Gunn is trying to play Superman like he doesn't kill at all, and he's gonna always doing good, and he's always helping. This is the Superman Gunn is trying to do, the poor underdog Superman. That's where Gunn is trying to go with this. And maybe at the end of the movie, Superman's killing or whatever because he has to. But my point anyway is this, that premise sounds cool, but just the HR, the media coverage of what's happening with his movie is backfiring royally. It's bad press. And what he has to understand is it wasn't vocalized with the Suicide Squad. People didn't vocalize it, but they're going to vocalize it now with his Superman movie, because Superman is a totally different character to any Suicide Squad's character you can go with. So that's the thing that's going on here, and that's why he's fighting a losing battle that he can't win. And that's why Warner Brothers is fighting a losing battle that they can't win. And that's why no matter what Warner Brothers does, they're going to have to restore the Snyderverse. It's not a if, but, or maybe. They're going to have to. Now, whether they want to continue their plans with a Marvelized DCEU or whatever, that's cool. But they're going to end up restoring the Snyderverse. And one of the steps in the right direction that they're doing is putting Zack Snyder's Justice League into theaters, because they're realizing, oh, we gotta do some shit, otherwise we ain't gonna make no money, at all. And I think Abdi and DeLuca are the solution and the keys to that, and hopefully it works out where Zack is able to put his movie into theaters, and that will make a big difference. It could revive everything in the company, because it's just one of those things where, as much as you have people who hate the Snyderverse, they're not the majority. The majority of people love the Snyderverse. And we're talking about very prominent people. They're not talking about it because they got nothing to talk about. But once something kind of breaks, like what happened with Zack Snyder's Justice League, it's a big response you're going to get. So, Cinehouse, he said, could Warner Brothers restore the Snyderverse? Absolutely. It's called Hollywood. I've seen plenty of things happen that people said would never happen. It's not about your feelings. It's about the demand. The fans always win in the end. This was Zack Snyder on the 4th of July saying that. So, again, what's his name? Cinehouse, he agrees with me on that. And there's a lot of people in a lot of areas that agree with me on this. It's a universal thing. It's not just Snyder fans. I think people always feel this was some minority of Snyder fans or some kind of crap like that want this to happen. No, this is something that GA would like to see happen. And they'll return to the cinemas and watch DC. This is something that, not just GA, but, fans of DC would like to see happen, Okay, let's go into something that's kind of interesting, a little bit of fun. What do you think is your top 10 superhero films? I gave mine. Big John gave his. What is your top 10 superhero films? I'd like to hear from you what you think is your top 10 superhero films. It doesn't have to be DC or Marvel. In fact, let me see here. There's there's a bunch of films out there, comic book films, that is, which are not DC or Marvel. And I just want to highlight some of them. I think I have it somewhere in bookmarks. I'm not too sure. If I do, I may, but I may not. Anyway, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is one. Here we are. You have He-Man, Masters of the Universe. That is, I think, a DC property, though. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Isn't that awesome? You got Flash Gordon. That was great. That was an old movie, right? Transformers. These are all movies which are not Spawn. You got movies that are not DC or Marvel, and they're also movies, right? Comic book movies at that. So I like to hear. It doesn't have to be a DC or Marvel movie to be a top 10 comic book movies. For me, Unbreakable, Split and Glass, I kind of lump them together as a series because the story kind of flows through the three movies. They're all connected. So Unbreakable, Split and Glass is one of my top 10 comic book movies of all time, or superhero movies. I really like those set of movies. What about you guys? I mean, here's another one that I think you got to put it in. You got to put it in the top 10. You got to put a Spider-Man 1 and 2 in the top 10, I believe. You got to put Logan, X-Men, Days of Future Past, X2, and X-Men, the original first X-Men. You got to put that. You got to put that in your top 10. I don't care what. I don't care if it's Marvel. I don't care. It's just good movies. Blade and Blade 2. You got to put that in there. You know what I mean? I wanted to put Iron Man in there as well, but I didn't have the space. Captain America: The First Avenger is one of my favorite Marvel films. The Winter Soldier, not as much, but definitely like Captain America: The First Avenger. Though I think those are top superhero films. Of course, you also have Black Panther. There's a bunch of them. There's Road to Perdition. There's a bunch. There's a bunch of other films I haven't talked about that could go into here. But in my top 10, you have things like Constantine, V for Vendetta. Of course, you got to put The Dark Knight somewhere in there. I put the trilogy, so Batman Begins, Dark Knight Returns. Of course, Zack Snyder's Justice League, BVS, Man of Steel, and Wonder Woman 2017. These are top tier films as well. I put what I could put in 10. There's more. There's much more than that, but you guys can decide how you want it. I'm gonna just point out a couple other people. Big John, he said Batman v Superman Ultimate Edition, Man of Steel, Mask of the Phantasm, which I don't think you should include in live action. Like if you're doing live action, you do live action. If you're doing animation, you do an animation. So Mask of the Phantasm is not a live action movie. So I don't know why that's there. I wouldn't put that there. The Dark Knight, yeah, of course. Everybody's going to put that. Zack Snyder's Justice League, Batman Begins, Watchmen. That's another one, Watchmen. I didn't have Watchmen in my top 10, which is kind of crazy, but is what it is. Spider-Man 1. See, he likes Spider-Man 1 as well. Iron Man and Captain America First Adventure. See, he has some of the similar, he has kind of similar type taste like I do. Let's see, that guy, top 10 superhero films. Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice, Ultimate Edition. Spider-Man 2, there you go. Into the Spider-Verse, yeah, but that's an animation. I wouldn't put that. See, I don't like to put animation with live action. Like animation's animation, live action's live action, particularly with films, because it takes a lot more to do a live action film than it does an animated film. I'm just saying. Man of Steel, absolutely. Spider-Man, there you go. Unbreakable. He has Unbreakable. See, he has, again, similar taste like that. The Crow, yeah, that's another one. The Crow was, again, great live action movie. Watchmen, Ultimate Cut, there you go. The Dark Knight and Batman Begins. See, so there's some overlap here. Let's see this guy. Spider-Man 2, there you go. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Man. He's a Spider-Man fan. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, but these are all animated. I wouldn't put animated, like I said before, with live action. Spider-Man, there you go. The Batman. Okay, the Batman, okay. Spider-Man 3, I don't know about Spider-Man 3. He a big Spider-Man fan, clearly. And Batman fan, it seems. Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice Ultimate Edition. Okay. Batman Returns, there you go. See? Logan, there you go. See? The Dark Knight. See, he's got again similar stuff like me. I don't know. And listen, I have not seen this stuff. I'm kind of going through it now. We didn't collaborate. We didn't talk about this. You know what I'm saying? Jared, Unbreakable. There you go. Look at that. The Batman. Okay. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Okay. Glass. See, look at that. Superman, Aquaman. This is crazy. Superman, Aquaman. Okay. Teen Titans Go to the movies. Okay. That's kind of crazy. The Suicide Squad. Okay. Batman v Superman and Shazam. Again, this guy probably has a certain kind of taste in movies because he's probably a James Gunn fan. Because there's no way in God's green earth I'm going to put Teen Titans Go in the top 10 best superhero movies of all time. That's just not happening. You know what I mean? Not happening. You know, Shazam in the top 10 superhero movies of the time. No. So I can tell he likes like humor, offbeat humor, that kind of thing. Because there's no way Shazam is going in the top 10. The Suicide Squad is going in the top 10. Teen Titans is going in the top 10. You know what I mean? It's just not happening. Guardians of the Galaxy is not happening. It's just not happening. So he has a different, I guess, taste in movies. JTS Speed Racer. Oh my God. Glass, I can see. Sam Raimi Spider-Man trilogy. Okay. Transformers, Dark of the Moon. Okay. Zack Snyder's Justice League. Okay. Hulk. Okay. Blade. Now, see. Blade, of course. You gotta put Blade in there. The Batman. Okay. Batman v Superman Ultimate Edition. Okay. Madam Web. What the fuck? Now, sometimes I don't understand people's thing, but whatever. I don't understand how you could like Madam Web and Speed Racer. Okay, those are the things that just don't seem to belong in the series of things he put there. But I guess people have their taste. I mean, there's no logic to it. Top 10 superhero films. The Batman. Spider-Man 2. Look at that. The Dark Knight. That makes sense. Batman v Superman. Zack Snyder's Justice League. Man of Steel. The Suicide Squad. Spider-Man. Guardians of the Galaxy. Okay, this is a Gun fan. My top 10 superhero. Josh. The Dark Knight. Spider-Man 2. Logan. Batman Begins. Okay. Avengers Infinity War. Okay. Mask of the Phantasm is a comic book movie. I mean, it's an animated movie. No, you cannot put that there. Into the Spider-Verse. No, you can't put that there. This is live action. We need to keep things live action. It's unfair to do animation with live action, in my opinion. Just saying. Now, there was no prerequisite for that, but I'm just saying. Spider-Man 1, X-Men Days of Future Past. See? The Batman. It makes sense. They got Logan in there as well. So that makes sense. Some additional guys are Captain America Civil War, Iron Man, and The Dark Knight Rises. Yeah. Yeah, that's basically it. That's the guy that started the whole thing. All right, so let me scroll down here. I got a lot of Free Palestine stuff. Lots of Free Palestine stuff. I'm gonna talk about that separate though. And the reason why I could talk this long tonight is because don't forget to smash the like button. You can also donate via PayPal. I could talk this long tonight because it's late night. So this is like a late night stream. It's like 3-something in the morning right now. So I'm just doing a late night stream with you guys right now. Okay. Some people talking about Sucker Punch. I'm gonna talk about that other stuff there. Man, it's some crazy shit, bro. There's a lot of crazy shit I have to say when it comes to Free Palestine. So We're gonna get into that. It's crazy, man, how people control narratives out here. It's just insane. All right. This is sick. Point blank, period. And I just want to share it with you guys. So the caption is, maybe blocking the caption. Let me see. No, I'm not blocking the caption. Hold on. Let me move back to the post. The post is this: restore the Snyderverse when the ground is rising. And we saw in every single one of the trilogies, whether it's Man of Steel, BBS, or Zack Snyder's Justice League, we saw the ground rise, which I thought was really cool. We saw the ground rise in Man of Steel when Superman is about to take flight. He's about to take flight. We saw it in Batman v Superman, even though he was dead, that his aura was still manipulating the dust particles that fell on top of his coffin. And then we saw him again when he was taking flight in Zack Snyder's Justice League. So it signals hope. The cool thing about those things is it's signaling that, it's going to be a breakthrough. And I love how it swirls and everything. It's just so crazy. It defies gravity, Like the imagery says so much. And again, Zack Snyder's a dyslexic guy, so he sees things that we wouldn't normally see, and he correlates things that we wouldn't normally correlate because we think too linearly. He does not think linearly. He thinks front, back, up, down. He can see things in 3D really well. And so with that extra ability he has, he's able to paint a picture that says so much more than maybe a traditional person who can read, traditionally left to right and stuff like that. He's actually got an insane advantage over all of us who are not dyslexic. Man, I got so much stuff here from Twitter when it comes to Free Palestine. We'll talk about that. We're on the right side of history, people. Oh man, this is great as well, but I'm gonna chill on this for a minute because time is going and I still have to do the review of okay. So here's a nice little question from Snyder Queen, also known as Sammy. She says, what is your favorite Zack Snyder movie? So we're talking Zack Snyder now. Mind you, Zack Snyder is not the only director I like, but I'm sure some of you will have different opinions about that. So there's Dawn of the Dead 300, Watchmen, Legend of the Guardians, The Owls of Ga'Hoole, you have Sucker Punch, Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, Justice League, Army of the Dead, Snow, Steam, and Iron. See here. You have Rebel Moon, A Child of Fire, and you have Rebel Moon, The Scargiver. You have Army of the Dead as well. So which of them, and for me, hands down, it's Zack Snyder's Justice League. That is my favorite Zack Snyder film. I think it's his best film. It's 4 hours long, by the way. It's an epic. And man, I love that. Batman v Superman is good as well. But Zack Snyder's Justice League just kind of brings everything to a nice completion. And I guess that's what makes it such a great film. Why you tell me what's your favorite Zack Snyder movie? I don't mind hearing it. Oh boy, we got so much stuff to say here. Hey, we'll get to it in time. This is an interesting observation by J Restore. J Restore says every time a nightmare sequence happens, it's because the Flash is running back through time and it's messing with time. Take, for instance, when the Flash appeared to talk to Bruce Wayne before that has a dream, a premonition of the future. When the Flash is about to run back through time in the Kryptonian ship, Cyborg is once again getting this crazy vision, all right, from the ship of the future. And again, when the Flash is running back through time, now this time he runs back through time and he changes time. And even so, Bruce Wayne is getting this dream about the future again. Now, Bruce Wayne has been getting dreams about the future since his interaction with the Flash in BVS. But I'm just saying, the Flash is always interfering with time, and because of that, people are getting visions of the future altered. I just thought it was an interesting point that Jay Restored made, and I just wanted to highlight it because I just thought it was spectacularly well thought out. And this is what I think makes the Snyderverse so interesting, because there's always all this extra set of information you can draw from it, and I like that sort of stuff. I think a lot of other people do too. Okay, so I really wanted to, this is my post now, and I just wanted to reiterate this point. And I actually sent this to Warner Brother Pictures. I said, what has pursuing Marvel done for DC or Warner Brothers? How many flops have you gotten? How many more will you need to come? How many Marvel directors have you hired? How many have made one profitable movie? Okay, then. Restore the Snyderverse. Zack Snyder's Justice League in IMAX. And I have Batman saying, oh God. 7 years, man. From 2019 onwards, DC has not had a DC Universe film that has made any kind of profit or even broken even. Okay? That's 7 years. Okay? Uh, that's 7 years? No, that's 5 years, right? 5 years. But if you include 2017, um, that'd be 7 years. Okay. Um, so 5 years of straight flops. And we're talking about 8 to 9 straight flops. I mean, how much more flops do you need to get? You know, this is not about Marvel. This is not about Marvelizing a DC universe. And yet they double down. They cancel Matt Reeves' uh, um, um, he was working on what was it, a video game or something? I can't remember what he was working on. You know, and they canceled that. And yes, the Penguin series is going to go into is already in production, and it's going to be viewed. But it's like, what are you doing? The franchises that actually make you money, Batman franchise. Why are you trying to get rid of that to bring out Batman the Brave and the Bold in Gunn's universe? And from what we're seeing about James Gunn's universe, again, without belaboring the point, is a bunch of frivolous nonsense. Kite Man looks like a bunch of shit. The Amanda Wallace solo series seems to be going to be kind of comical, dance numbers and shit like that. I just don't get why you are trying to Marvelize and campize the tone of DC. Why are you hell bent on doing that? Now, Joker Part 2, I don't think it's going to do as well as the first Joker movie, and it's really because Warner Brothers told Todd Phillips to do a sequel when Todd Phillips had already said it's going to be a one and done deal with Joker. Joaquin Phoenix came back, and you have this other woman acting as Harley Quinn. I personally think that it's not going to be as successful as the first one, and mainly because, and even though it's a musical, and nothing's wrong with that, it's just that I don't think that if you said this is a one and done deal, you should have done a sequel. That's all I'm saying. I'm sure Todd Phillips will pull off something very respectable, but I just think it's like I'm tired of seeing the Batman, I'm not really interested in the Batman at all. Now that I know what it looks like and what it is, I'm not interested in the Penguin series because I get what it's going to be. So nothing that Matt Reeves will bring out in the future is going to actually move me. But having said that, Is the company trying to screw over Matt Reeves to help James Gunn? I mean, are you really serious? Are you so hell-bent on having a DC Marvel crossover with Disney owning the DC properties that you're willing to just just break your contract with a director and cancel his movies? I mean, what's wrong with Warner Brothers, man? I mean, I'm not a big fan of Matt Reeves, the Batman. In fact, I prefer to see Ben Affleck's the Batman over Matt Reeves. But come on, man. What are you doing? So the question was asked, why is Warner Brothers doing this? Well, I was having a discussion with Damian Anton Vincent about this in private, and I just wanted to break down to him that these executives, they get paid to put out movies. They don't get paid to put out good movies. They get paid to put out movies, and then they get back end stuff for failure movies. So there's something called upward failure, which Christopher Lee spoke about, the great Christopher Lee, where they put flop out of after flop after flop out. They're making good money as executives. Um, they don't care, and it doesn't affect them. It just totally messes up the public, and you get crappy product. It drives down the stock, and Zaslav wants to sell DC and Warner Brothers, so he's happy with getting a low buying price for Warner Brothers to the nearest bidder. He's trying to make it more attractive for people to buy it, to purchase it, particularly Disney. They're looking at. So this is why they're going the James Gunn route now. But the thing is, when James Gunn's Superman movie flops, which it will, where is the future for DC there? Why would Disney buy a failed franchise? But they would, because they bought up the Fantastic Four franchise, didn't they? But DC comes with an audience, and I don't know if they're ready for that. I don't know if they're ready, because their Marvel audience is not going to their Marvel audience is waking up anyway and getting smarter. So their Marvel audience is probably not going to buy into that. So you have to really come good to get DC off the ground. Really have to come good. DC is a very difficult audience. It's a very difficult audience that they're very picky. Yeah, very high standards. And the DC audience will turn on you like that. They'll turn on you. You could be doing good for 4 or 5 films. They'll tell you if you're doing shit. If your films are crap, they're gonna tell you that. They're not like Marvel in that respect. So that's a tough crowd to deal with. You know what I mean? All right. So now here's what I want to talk to you guys about. I want to talk to you guys about Axel Foley and Beverly Hills Cop 2. Beverly Hills Cop Axel F. So it's a decent little movie. It wasn't bad. The guys are much older. They've aged quite a lot. So that's the first thing you need to know. The second thing you need to know is don't expect don't expect this great, spectacular performance. What the fuck? Hold on a second, people. Sorry about this. Okay, people, sorry about that. What happened was a cockroach just flew out of nowhere, hit me in my head, so that's why I cursed like that. Sorry about that. Excuse the cursing. I handled the situation. The cockroach is now dead and outside. Um, yeah, so, yeah, these guys are old. They're much older now, and so don't expect them to be like, when they were younger. Uh, let's talk about the movie a little bit. The movie was good. It was a nice little movie. Nothing exceptional about it. Nothing great about it. It was good that it was on Netflix. It was nice to see the old characters come back together again. Uh, but it is what it is. If you have nostalgia for the movie, for the characters, you're gonna enjoy it. It's pretty bland. It's not like Bad Boys for Life. It's bland. It's a nice little movie though, where Axel Foley's daughter is involved. You're wondering if his pal, if his partner who he went to LA with, if he's gonna live. In the end, everybody stays alive. It's a happy ending. Kevin Bacon, played a decent role in the movie. It was all right. It was all right. I mean, the action was all right as well. Eddie Murphy did a lot of his stunts, which was really good. And in fact, everybody did their own stunts for the most part. Um, it was a nice little movie. Yeah. Was it on the level of the previous Beverly Hills Cop movies? No. But it had elements in it that made it interesting, and it had me chuckling, here and there. Would it be something that people would have gone into the cinema to see? Not really. Um, but the forum in which it came is really the perfect forum, and it's performing very well on Netflix. So kudos to Eddie Murphy, man, putting out another one of those old classics. He did Coming to America, and now he did Beverly Hills Cop Axel F. Kudos to Eddie Murphy on putting that out. And what I liked about it was, he gives people chances to come into the movie with him. So he's kind of a dickhead of a cop, as you all know. He's not really liked in Detroit. And so it's kind of interesting him coming back playing a cop in an era and a time where cops are kind of getting negative press. So that's all interesting as well. It's an all right movie, man. Now let's talk about The Sandman. The Sandman as a series is just a fantastic series. I would advocate that anybody go see it because it's great. It's tremendous. It's fantastic. Um, man, I can't speak. Now, what is the Sandman? The Sandman basically is the guy that controls dreams. Okay, he controls nightmares. He controls good things that happen in dreams. Hold on a second.